Welcome back to cryptomentals.com. Today we're going to look at a little update on Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana. Majors are all rolling over here a day after the FOMC and after getting rejected at strong resistance earlier in the week, end of the weekend. So really it's just a question about Bitcoin here in this top of channel resistance that it just can't seem to get above. And once again, strong rejections on Sunday. They tried to pop it up again, ended up just with a second wick to the upside and never even closed outside of the channel. And now, of course, rolled over, and yesterday moved down into the FOMC event and continued dropping afterwards before finally overnight catching some sort of bounce here against these old lows. But no doubt about it, talked about this big M top that's already working and how any bounces up into short location we're likely to be rejected. So we have this M top and then, the dead cat bounce up into the channel top. Lots of resistance right there. Not to mention just a fib range drawn off of this high to low here. 0.786 right at that same top of channel level. So confluence there for a short location. And of course, this little M top too, we really just bounced up into that and got rejected. So lots of resistance above. And of course, the old all-time high, 69K, and then the current all-time highs of 73. Lots of resistance in this area. Talked about that a lot. Not a huge surprise to see that if bare minimum in this period of consolidation is taking a while here, and it might have to take, maybe it bangs around like this all the way into the election. So a few more months of this painful range before truly doing anything. But no doubt about it, there's a structural top working in Bitcoin, and it looks like it has most recently just confirmed that with this rejection. Now price is even below the 21 EMA, so that we do have to deal with that as resistance now, and any bounces up into higher levels against this range are very shortable in my opinion. So I can see a potential head and shoulders setting up here if we do bounce, so like there's the neckline and the head, or sorry, the left shoulder, the head. Now we've come down and put in a bounce at the neckline. And so any bounces up into this area are shortable and likely to break down towards maybe the middle of the channel. So these lows are making the neckline, and any bounce up into here is likely to be a lower high at this point, as the trend seems to have rolled over here in the short term. We'll see what happens. You can see they're trying to buy it back up today here. We'll see how the day closes. But again, 21 EMA is now sort of like resistance for today in the next couple days. So one last thing about the bears. They seem to be in control, but there's some ugly confirmation in the indicators here for bearishness. And these confirmed bearish divs are now fully working. Have RSI on the top here. You can see like as the left shoulder moved to a new high to make the head. We're moving higher high was made here on this sort of FU move outside the channel. You can see RSI was actually making a lower high and now has confirmed a full on M. We've broken through and made that M. So now there's confirmed bearish divergence on the daily chart for RSI, and also an OBV, which I don't like to see at all. If I'm a bull, this sort of is kind of a nail in the coffin, in my opinion, here in the short term. An M and OBV that was also confirmed divergence on that same move. So definitely things have rolled over here. There's not a new M top, so it's either going to be this head and shoulders, or maybe we bounce up here and put in an M. But seems like that's likely. Of course, make a case for the bulls here. That's the bears. They seem to be in charge at the moment. It's too late to short right here. You got to wait for a bounce. But for the bulls, it's going to take a lot of work for the bulls to get back in charge here, in my opinion. But basically still have to get outside the channel to start trending higher again and through all this resistance. Now, it didn't get any sort of breakout and retest that could have happened last week. And now it's a question of what happens as we bounce back up into that resistance. And, there's chances of like an ABCD or a bull flag would be the bull trade if this comes in. Now, it hasn't even come anywhere near confirming yet, but this is the only thing I could see as a potential trade here for the bulls is sort of hunting some sort of eventual trend continuation breakout through the channel. But that means this head and shoulders has to not come in and or fail, and really probably likely to see pullbacks all the way into the middle of the channel. So like, I don't know how low it goes, but as we bang around here, if we can put in like, some higher lows here and maybe a market structure W, then that could suggest a target up here at 78. And we actually do test the old highs down the road. So that would be the trade for the bulls. And of course, this is like a bull flag too, basically same idea. So like the trend continuation trade needs to set up first. At that point, the 21 will probably roll over and get broken through again. Not anywhere near that. Of course, the indicators need to sort of show signs of turning, and the bears are in charge right here. So I don't think taking this trade is going to happen anytime soon. But that's what the bull trade would look like. Anyway, so not looking great. Solana and Ethereum also similar, but I'll just point out a couple differences really quick here, starting with Ethereum. I kind of see this as the range for Ethereum right now. Well, first off, Ethereum was looking even kind of sluggish here of late anyway compared to Bitcoin and Solana. Did try to break out here, but never really even got up against the old highs. But I do see a trend line off the top here because we did just barely tick to a new low here, or at least damn close. Yeah, it looks like we did. And so that validates this trend line to some extent. And I think there is resistance up here, but we're not anywhere near there right now. Really, we're at the midpoint of sort of a weird looking range. And then I just drew a line off this old high as a reference here. I could easily see, them taking the market down here and eating all these lows here and just dipping into at least that high, maybe lower. But I mean, of course, it looks like we're just making, trending down. Basically, we have a high, a lower high, and another lower high potentially, because we did make a lower low here. So kind of looks like that. But same story. The bears appear to be in charge. As far as divergences, didn't get overbought here in RSI, and also not really a divergence in that little move here. OBV is now fully M'd out, not in divergence, but we have M's going here. So it still looks like this thing has to move down, and at bare minimum for bulls, you got to see some sort of W or something in here as we get down against these lows. I'd say this is horrible trade location for new longs here, plus with the 21 EMA pointing down and everything's trending down. It's too late for shorts too. Maybe the last opportunity was shorting here off of like a 61.8 tag, but of this bounce. But I think it's too late to take any shorts right here. And this thing might bang around for a while here before truly doing anything. Because, I mean, if this is a trend continuation for Ethereum, it's got to get all the way above this trend line and start showing bullish structure up here. Same kind of like this would have to be a bull flag or pennant off of this huge move here. So lots of work for Ethereum to actually continue the trend to the upside. And then Solana, I'll say Solana's been the strongest. And honestly, Solana still has bullish structure. This is I see a big giant W here. I see a W here, and then I see a W here that just barely confirmed. And yeah, sure, it was an FU move that got rejected right away, but it did tick through. So there is like we didn't M out in the same sense that Bitcoin has, where these lows held here. And there's kind of, this isn't a real W. It had a lower right side sort of FU where they took the lows here. That was an amazing FU long level, I'd say. They washed the stops there and then ripped it. But so it's not a real W, but nonetheless, hopefully you can see this is sort of more bullish looking. And then if it is a flag, we've already actually broken out of the flag and we're now retesting. So any sort of W's over here would be trend continuation for Solana. So looking a lot better than the other two, I'd say. But in the broader market picture, if Bitcoin rolls over, I think Solana is going to have a hard time too. And I'm not saying like this thing's going to rip tomorrow, but it looks a little better than the other two. And now we are hanging on to the 21 EMA, obviously rolled over hard, and really an FU, as much as this completed that W I was just talking about, that was just a really interesting location to consider hunting shorts. You basically have short location, off of the highs and the range. You could see how 78.6 again was also the old high here. So amazing FU location to get short right there and risk against the highs, but it's a little late for that trade now. And technically the trend is still up and we're hanging on to the 21 EMA. So this might turn around and grind higher here we don't know yet. But if it does break down and start testing the underside of the 21, then it probably has to roll over. And it's gonna struggle if Bitcoin struggles, let's be honest. But does look bullish. And I think in the bigger picture, I mean, Solana is obviously a big deal this cycle. And when you think about giant trend continuations, and I think this is happening in Bitcoin and Ethereum too, it just doesn't look as set up. But there is some sort of ABCD trend continuation that's setting up into the next year's bull run, I believe. So that would be something like that, painting like 313 Solana to new highs, and maybe it goes higher. I'm just saying that's kind of setting up. You can see that's just basically that bull flag idea, right? You have this trend line off the top. The flag is something like that, and we're just trying to break out of it here. So again, any sort of W right here, for example, would actually really suggest that this trade's on. We'll see though. It's going to take the rest of the year probably for all this to play out, but Solana definitely looking pretty good. Or looking still bullish, hasn't broken like Bitcoin and Ethereum have. So that's it for today. Just general outlook, still the same. Alts are getting punished right now in many areas, with the exception of some memes here and there. Probably see those continue to bleed out as Bitcoin works itself out and eventually turns back up to the upside. So again, it's probably going to be a sluggish few months as those altcoins start to try to bottom. Leave it that right now. Leave it at there for now. This will be posted to the blog with a short write-up as well, and on YouTube here. Thanks for all the likes and subscriptions. And also, lastly, I am considering doing a live stream at some point. And so maybe let me know in the comments, maybe a once a week live stream or something. There's so much to cover. I feel like it requires a live stream to just sort of cram out a bunch of things that I want to say without making individual videos for each one. So I'm considering doing that. Of course, that's time consuming in itself. But maybe throw me a time zone and day that works for you in the comments so I can start getting an idea of what would be a good time for people to show up to a live stream. Probably would be 1 to 2 hours, and it would just cover all kinds of things in crypto. So, and also just hang out and have fun. Let me know what you think of that, and I will talk to you all later. See you on the next one. Thanks.